Um, do you want to start by telling me a little bit about this organization, Vivian's Door, and then also tell me a little bit about what you want to kind of what you want to use Balsamiq and the wireframes for, what you're trying to design and create.
Okay. Um, well, Vivian Store is a nonprofit that is designed to help um, underserved businesses uh, grow, scale, and reinvest in their communities. That's its underlying mission. But on the we have two things we're doing. I want to design my website, and I've kind of started working on it a bit. So that its flow drives donations for us.
Hmm.
And then the other thing we're going to use Balsamiq for is to we are actually, as a part of our mission, creating an app that these minority businesses can use. It'll have a directory in there, and it'll have a lot of other stuff. And so I want to do wireframes and stuff for that when we, yeah.
Okay, great. What would you like to focus on in this session, the website or the
The
app?
website, because that's what,
Okay.
we're in giving season now. And so
Hmm.
my website coming out looking okay would be the perfect thing to do.
Okay, great. All right, let's try to dive in. I have some stuff kind of already started a little bit that we can work from. So maybe I will share my screen and you can, um, are you able to see my screen?
I can see it. Yes.
Great. So what I did to start is I copied what you had kind of initially written about, about your organization and your mission, and just tried to highlight some things that stood out to me. So, you're working on building a minority business ecosystem in the Gulf Coast. Yeah, and as you mentioned, your mobile app, and then business training and opportunity support. Um, and then here's these things, kind of this bullet point here, this scholarship training resources, mentorship, networking, corporate connections, a catalog of minority-owned businesses. Um, and ultimately, you wanted this to be a game changer for helping minority businesses grow, scale, and reinvest in their communities, which I think is a fantastic mission. So what I did, what the other things I have up here is just so we can kind of start out on the right foot is I opened up some other resources that we have specifically about wireframes for nonprofits.
Hmm.
And some of these you can look at after. So we did do we have this series called First Impressions where we have a usability expert review some websites, and he reviewed a nonprofit called School on Wheels. And one of the things he really focuses on is how to get people to donate, how to make it very clear what the organization does and why it's worth giving money to. So I would recommend watching this video afterwards, and I'll send you the link
Okay,
to that.
great.
I've also done a couple of these wireframing sessions with other nonprofits. This one might be kind of useful, this Hope for the Caribbean one. I'll also send you that link. And then there was another one that might be a little bit more similar to yours called Teen Success. And it was basically about helping teen mothers graduate high school and kind of go on to be successful and be able to support themselves. So they actually recently redesigned their website based on that session,
Awesome.
and really making that donate stand out in front. So make it easy to donate and make it clear to somebody who might be considering donating why they should donate to you. Um, and it sounds to me like donations are probably the kind of the primary thing that you want people to do on your website.
Yeah, I'm thinking we definitely want them to donate, but we've got a lot of rich content there. We've got the directory will be there. Um, that contains all the minority businesses. So, they may really find that of interest when they're trying to locate those businesses. And we also have on there um, a lot of our video content where we've gone out to some of these businesses and actually, especially the restaurant pieces, where we've actually sampled their foods and stuff. And so it's
Oh, that's great.
really, really kind of, uh, I mean, it's good. I mean, I think people would want to look at that.
Okay, that's
Uh-huh.
very helpful.
Hmm.
There's another article that I will send you later, which I find what I did is I looked at some of the live wireframing sessions that we've done in the past just to see kind of what some of our own recommendations are for how to start from nothing when you're just beginning your wireframe.
Hmm.
Because I think a lot of times the temptation is to go in and start designing, but I think it's important just to take a few minutes to think about who you're designing for and kind of what are some of the goals. So this might be a good thing to look at, and I might refer to it here. So one of the common themes I found is that before even starting with any of the design, be very clear about who is going to be using it. You can call this the actors, or just the, who is this site for, and what are the goals of those people, and then what are some of the things that you want them to do on that site. And then the idea behind that is that once you know those three things, then you just try to make it really easy for them to do that. So I would like to start by asking you about these, who you think the people using your site will be. One of the things that stands out to me is that you mentioned there's the people you want to donate, but there's also a lot of good content on there for people who are maybe people who are uh, owners of businesses or want to start them, or are looking for some inspiration or something like that. Would you?
Right. What we're finding, we've got a real enriched social media following. We haven't, tried to grow it any, but it's about 1,000 people on
Oh, okay.
both Facebook and Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
we've held that number for now almost a year. But what we're finding is they love to see positive information about minorities. I
Uh-huh.
guess there's so much negativity out there, so we try to post anything any relevant thing where where minorities are in sort of strengthened. For instance,
Mm-hmm.
what Tyler Perry just did recently, that was, really people loved that. And so we just have daily, they come to our site, not site, they haven't come to the site because the site's not there yet, but they're participating in our social media threads, really kind of enjoying that content. And it appears to be, of course, the larger majority of the people are obviously minorities, uh, but we have a lot of diverse users as well that just appreciates uh, positive stuff in those communities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
And are those people that you're looking to recruit for donations, or what do you want from those people?
Now that's a good question. We had never thought of that until I started thinking about this thing I was going to do with you today. What we want those people to do is to obviously be a part of our community,
Mm-hmm.
and to obviously enjoy, not only the content that we've got there, but to use and support these minority businesses. But I mean, in order for us to do what we're doing, obviously we got to get donations. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot going on there.
And you said this is mostly around the Gulf Coast area. Would you be satisfied if people are patronizing and supporting these businesses by say shopping there or eating there, or are you more interested in having donations to your organization?
Yeah, that's the underlying question. We do want them to support these businesses. We really do. Uh, and that's one of our motivations. But I, I I think if we're looking at this thing from you know, how can we do this into the future, we've got to get donations. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of, we've had so much fun with this content stuff that we've, I think, lost sight of how do we pay for this. Mm.
Well, I mean, it's great that you've built up that following and built up people who are excited about it. And, might be time to give them a little nudge and say, hey, if you like us, here's how you can, here's ways that you can help. I mean, they obviously are supportive, and I think you don't have to feel bad for asking them for their help, to support the work that you're doing. So. Um, um, okay, and then you also mentioned people who would come to the site for this directory, and so that would be a, why would they come to that directory? Or would they be business owners or potential business owners, or would they be potential customers, or kind of what is your audience for that
Okay.
directory of
And when
businesses?
I looked at it, we've got three audiences. Okay, we have the just normal consumer of who is, you know, probably a minority business or someone who has an affinity for minority businesses, and they want to find a minority business to support.
Okay.
That's one guy. The other actor is the minority business himself,
Mm-hmm.
um, who is going to feel the whole vibe of what we're doing, which supports them and it helps them grow. And the third audience is companies that have to build their supply chains with minorities.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to use it to find those minorities and see what people are saying about them.
Great. It's great that you're able to clearly articulate that. That's going to be very helpful. I want to ask you a little bit more about the minority business owners. So what specifically are they looking to get out of this organization, aside from, a sense of community and maybe inspiration or connection? How can they benefit, either financially or in other ways, from using the site?
Okay, that's a good question. The minority businesses themselves, their win is that they're going to get more exposure because we're giving all of them a free listing. And if they want to do, if they want, really fancy stuff, then they're going to have to pay more for that. But everybody gets a free listing. And so obviously they're being promoted there.
Got it.
So they could lead people to the site, so as a way of gaining credibility for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the other thing they're going to get out of it is minority businesses are actually going to be trained through our training program, and they're going to be featured on here. So there may be some training material at some point that we've got up there for them. Some content in that way. So I think, and they're also the majority companies that are going to be looking for minority businesses, the minority businesses are going to want to make sure they look good here.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Mm-hmm.
can stand out among other people that may be
Mm-hmm.
competing in the same professions.
Mm-hmm. Got it. That's great. So you have kind of multiple, you're providing value in a lot of ways. You're, people who want to do good in their community and want to feel good about, their contributions, can support through donations. Minority businesses can improve the reputation and their own business by getting on this site. So it sounds like there's a lot of reasons why people would come to the site, which is great. What are the, could you tell me, what are the paid services for the business owners?
Okay. They get a free listing, so that's unpaid. But if they want to step that listing up so that it's kind of like a little mini web page,
Mm-hmm.
almost a capability statement for them,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have to pay for that.
Got it. Uh-huh.
We're going to provide, their basic information, and the links that we will provide will not be clickable. So companies will get their information, but it won't be clickable. If they want to have clickable links and they want to have more information
Mm-hmm.
so that, because a company typically is not going to just take, on a business owner by name. If it's a majority company, they want to see, what they really do, and do they have any certifications. So them having that kind of information on our site makes it really an easy sort of process. And then of course the companies have us. They can always call us to find out what our take on the business is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great service to provide. Um, okay, this is a fantastic start. Shall we look at the link that you sent me, the one that you have kind of in
Yeah,
progress?
the one that we've kind of started.
And I noticed that this is, I saw that there is an existing Vivian store site.
Yeah, that one we want to get rid of really quickly because it's a brochure.
Ah, okay, got it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what was so it looks like a lot has changed from this kind of what you have now to this kind of one that you're working on. What's some of the background behind this, and what you added, and what's there now, and then I guess also it looks decent. What do you what do you want to
Well,
do to take it to the next level?
this is just a template we found that might
Mm-hmm.
that might look good. But we didn't really know what we were doing in terms of, building out something that had a message underneath that, would do what we wanted it to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, well, how we want to take it to the next level is we kind of want to make sure that going in, people understand that uh, we want them to donate. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's how this all continues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it was just, a little thing that Janice wanted to do and just could never get it off the ground.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and so we obviously want them to donate. The other big thing is we want people to actually um, help, us locate and support these businesses. One of the problems and why I got to this is that you can't find these businesses. There is
Mm-hmm.
no single tool out there that traps that data.
Mm-hmm.
It's like forgotten data. And so if you really want to support them, you have to go and really work hard to do this. So we just found a little template or whatever, build out a little, partner with the chamber and built out just a little bit of a prototype directory. Obviously, we're going to take this to a new level,
Mm-hmm.
but the actual web page, we wanted to drive people there and get this data. Yeah, it's not. We don't want it to look anything like this going forward, but we want to make sure that we've got the desire for people to want the tool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the chamber actually partnered with us somewhat, the Mobile Chamber here, but now we're discovering that the state of Alabama wants to partner because they have no tool to find minority businesses with.
That's a great
So,
opportunity.
yeah, so we figure that if we can do it in this great state of Alabama, we can do it in almost any state else.
So you're thinking big.
No,
That's good.
no, we haven't even gotten out the front door yet.
That's great.
So
So right now, the list of businesses that you have is exclusively in Mobile, Alabama.
yeah,
Okay.
we got about a list of 1,000, but there are like
Wow.
supposedly there are 10,000 businesses that are based on the census data. There are 10,000
Mm-hmm.
businesses, and so we got a lot of work to do. And so that's why
Mm-hmm.
the partnership with the state makes sense because the
Mm-hmm.
state can they can they can help us fund that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that I think that's maybe kind of a good segue to start doing a little bit of wireframing here. Because when you said 1,000 businesses, then automatically I'm thinking, okay, well that's you know for somebody coming to the site, there's going to be a lot of searching and navigating. It's not just a list of 10 where you can just look at a list, but you're going to have to be kind of filtering and drilling down and navigating and sorting and things like that. So that's kind of presents an interesting, website design challenge. So I'm just kind of tossing out some ideas here. So we can start by, I would start by picking a page that you are especially interested in designing together. I
Mhm.
would suggest either the homepage or maybe that business directory page.
Okay, let's look at the business directory page.
Okay, 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 good. I think that's a great idea.